saw all the custodians huddled in a group watching what was going on with the microwave. And lo and behold, the last piece of the puzzle fell into place. Or so I thought. Because the next following Monday, there was a mysterious and unexpected twist, and let me tell you, a lot of people were very unhappy. But it got better. No one knew anything about it, not the principal, nor the cafeteria staff. And after sifting through my interviews, I had a story. It started with a sophomore named Jason and a frozen burrito he had gotten from his buddy Christian.
Me and Christian, we've been friends since the 3rd grade. So when he says, I picked out on chips at breakfast, you want half my burrito? I'm thinking it's safe. He ain't gonna do me wrong. And yeah, the burrito's kind of soggy and lukewarm. It's got this white powder stuff on it. But I figured that's the preservative, you know. Can't have food without preservatives. And it tastes a little funny. But it's a burrito from the freezer. Ain't no gourmet Taco Bell food, so I figured you take what you can get. But later I'm sitting in class thinking, where'd he eat the thing up? So I text him, all like, hey, where'd you find a microwave? And he's all like, what? And I'm like, a microwave. Where'd you find a microwave to heat up the burrito? And then he goes, I didn't use no microwave. I held it in my armpit all morning. And then I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, armpit. I heat him up old school. And I'm like, inside or outside of your shirt? And he's like, inside. It's warmer there. Why are you asking stupid questions? And then I go, please tell me you left it in the plastic wrapper. And then he goes, nah, heats it up better without the wrapper. And then I realized that the white stuff wasn't no preservative, it was deodorant. I ate half a burrito that's been marinated to Christian's armpit all morning. And you'd better believe I ran for the trash can.
Anytime somebody calls for me, I know it's nothing good. It goes with being a custodian, but this was one for the record books. 2 mops, 2 buckets, 4 rolls of paper towels, and a whole bottle of Lysol. If I could have taken a fire hose to it, I would have. Even if Christian had made it to the trash can in time, I don't know how much good it would have done. Figured the poor kid had a virus or something. But then I heard he found out where the burrito had been all morning. And frankly, I couldn't blame him. And then it got me thinking. Holding a burrito under your arm for 3.5 hours, that's gotta be uncomfortable. What would drive a person to do that? Well, I guess you've gotta eat a frozen burrito, but gotta get it unfrozen first. You could lick it like a popsicle, but then it'd be lunch by the next day till you're done. Then you'd have to start all over again. So what could you do to a frozen burrito other than stick it under your arm or lick it like a popsicle? You heat it in a microwave. But there are no microwaves in the cafeteria, so I thought maybe there should be. Me and the rest of the custodians, we talked it over. And all the loose change that had been cleaned up off the floor since the beginning of the year, well, we were going to use it to throw ourselves a toaster strudel party, but decided to put it towards the microwave for the cafeteria instead. So, the head custodian, Miss Ryan, she went out shopping.
Me and Mr. Murphy, the other group, was Brooks, the kids needed microwave. There's 6 custodians altogether, and between us, we found $8.53 in loose change around the school since August. Mostly under desks, but also in the cafeteria, the library, and the bathrooms, too. But it's tough to find a microwave for a price like that. So I said to myself, it's yard sailing time. Yard sales are one of my hobbies. It's amazing what some people are willing to sell cheap when they don't want it anymore. I hit the road and found 3 yards worth of microwaves, but none of my price range. Good thing for this school, though, I know how to negotiate. I was talking with a woman over a microwave she priced at $25. I got it down to $15, but she wouldn't go no further. That was when I offered to throw some coupons I had in the backseat of my car, and she was like, what kind of coupons you got? Well, I knew I had her then. She was being out cheap for a month, let me tell you. $1 hamburgers, $5 free ice cream cones, 50-cent French fries. The more I think about it, the more I think she came out better on the deal than I did. There's 6 kids. Oh my god. The kids are our future, you know. They deserve a microwave, and this one turned out and only had a couple of vents, so I thought it was the least I could do. I got a little table out of the cafeteria and set it up in the cafeteria early on Monday morning. And when lunchtime rolled around, I stopped by to see what was happening. At first, it was like the kids didn't know what to think. This is the difference that they'd never seen in my microwave.
I walked into the cafeteria on Monday and I was like, what is that? It looked like a microwave, but at the same time, it didn't. You know? Like if an archaeologist walked into an ancient Egyptian tomb, this is what you'd expect. More of a prehistoric ancestor of microwave than an actual microwave. At first, I thought the history department was setting up some kind of display. And then I noticed that the thing was plugged in. And I was like, holy cow, is that safe? And then I walked into the cafeteria lunchtime. And I got handed another cold cafeteria hamburger. I hate cold cafeteria hamburgers. If I wanted a cold cafeteria hamburger, I went to Antarctica and kill a cow myself. I just wanted to shove a bunch of firecrackers into a head of lettuce and watch it explode. But then I remembered that microwave oven sitting there, plugged in and ready to go. So I got my hamburger, stuck it in, stood back, and got ready for something to go boom. But then the weirdest thing happened. There was no microwave. There was no explosion, and I could feel it. It felt like my hamburger was actually cooking. So I opened the door, took it out, and it felt nice and warm. So I took a bite, and it tasted kind of okay.
I saw the look on Britt's face when she tasted that hamburger, like she thought it tasted kind of okay. And I'm thinking, I wish my hamburger tasted kind of okay too. And then it dawned on me, that thing Britt used to heat up her burger was a microwave oven. There was an actual microwave in the school cafeteria. And yeah, it didn't look right. But you gotta take some risks to get what you want, you know? Like you're pretty much risking your life every time you ride in the car. Eating your food's really no different from that. So I'm thinking, it's worth the risk. I walk up to the microwave and touch the corner. Nothing bad happened. I'm thinking, okay, this seems promising. I open the door, put my food inside, close the door, turn the knob, push the button, and start going. I waited 30 seconds, not dead. And when I took my food out, I had a warm burger. And I wasn't dead. Only then I looked around and it looked like people were curious. One guy came up to me and was like, Sheila, how'd you do that? And I said, you turn the knob and push the button. And he said, do you put your food in before or after that? And I said, before. And I walked away. But then I heard something like somebody crashing into a chair. And when I turned around, that guy I was just talking to was fighting with another guy. And while they were fighting, another guy put his food inside the microwave. But then one of the first two guys punched him. And while they were going at it, a girl took his food out and then put hers in. But then another girl grabbed her hair. A few people pulled out their phones to record the fighting, but not near as many as usual, because it was like half the people were lining up to fight over the microwave.
A guy's gotta have food, you know, and that food's gotta be warm. Ain't nobody want to eat no cold food. At least, nobody I know. And definitely not me. Unless it's pudding, or maybe ice cream. It depends on the flavor. So when I saw that microwave in the cafeteria, I said to myself, Joe, you're gonna nuke yourself some food. So what if there's a line? What makes the person at the front of that line any better than me? So what if they waited their turn? That don't mean nothing. The whole idea of standing in a line and being all polite, that's just a bunch of social stuff that I never voted on. So why should I have to stand in line? If I'm bigger, stronger, I can assert myself better than the people in that line, why should I have to stand behind them? So I'm going to the front. This little freshman gets all upset. He starts screaming about how it's not fair, blah, 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 how he's going to tell the principal and his parents, and it's just super annoying, like a little happy dog. So I give him a gentle little push backwards. You know, very much a get out of my way, you know, it's good for you kind of thing. And then he pushes me. Can you believe the nerve of that? He pushes me. Some people ain't got no respect. So I push him back harder. And that little punk, he throws a chicken nugget at me. You ever tried to eat a chicken nugget from the cafeteria? They're like rocks. That nugget hit me square in the middle of the forehead. A 1 in a million shot that knocked me clean unconscious. I'd kill that little shrimp if I knew what he looked like, but I had a concussion, now I can't remember. For real, I swear, I'm not blind. I ain't scared of that little kid. And I would have kept on cutting in line too if that 6'7", 300-pound senior football player hadn't come along and made the microwave his pet project.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. People fighting over who got to use the microwave. The sad part was there was so much fighting going on, the microwave was just sitting there, hardly getting used. Anybody with half a brain could see there was a problem. And I'm not stupid. I read part of a study guide for Lord of the Flies. I could see where things were headed, and somebody needed to do something about it. And so I figured, my study hall overlaps with all 3 lunch shifts, so it might as well be me. I went over next to the microwave, and I'm like, y'all gotta calm down. This ain't the way to do things. Chill the heck out. And I'm a pretty big guy, so people tend to listen to me. Everybody got settled, so I told them, I don't know who was here first, so we're gonna handle this the American way. Capitalism. You wanna use the microwave, you gotta tell me how much that's worth to you. A bunch of people just looked at me like they were stupid. And then Brandy Edwards starts digging in her pockets, pulls out some change that says 44 cents. And I'm like, okay, is it worth more than 44 cents for anybody to use it ahead of Brandy? And then Cecily handed me $1. So she went first. Then another person handed me 75 cents, so they went ahead of Brandy. It just kept going like that. Brandy still hasn't gotten to use the microwave. I gotta give her credit. She was the one who demonstrated an understanding of capitalism and set an example for everyone else to follow. I respect that, but respect don't put gas in my car. So she better do better than 44 cents if she wants to heat up her food before she graduates. Look at all this money I made. I am not desperate for customers.
What Michael did was totally unfair. Some students absolutely take for granted that they have cash in their pockets that they can give away without a care in this world. But let me tell you, it's not like that for everybody at the school, and there's a definite lack of empathy and consideration on display here. Michael may be the perfect gatekeeper for the microwave, but nobody asked him. Nobody appointed him. And we sure as heck didn't agree to pay him cash. So if he's going to be doing this the rest of the year, he needs to take credit and debit. And if he has any sense in this world at all, he needs to take PayPal, Apple Pay, and Venmo. Because even though we're living on a brink of post-cash society, some of us are already there. And I'm so glad to be one of them. Cash is disgusting. I look at Michael taking a $5 bill from somebody and then eating a french fry with the same hand after. And it just makes me want to gag. He doesn't know where that money's been, or how many people have handled it, or if they washed their hands the last time they went to the bathroom, which they probably didn't. Cash is like a playground for bacteria and germs, and George Washington's face is their seesaw. They don't care about history or patriotism. They have no regard to the financial institution of our nation. The germs are like, hey, let's breed all over this money. I bet if you took a $5 bill to a science classroom this afternoon and stuck it under a petri dish, you'd have an army of tentacle monster blobs that look like Abraham Lincoln squishing around the halls by tomorrow morning. And I don't mean the good kind of tentacle monster blobs. I mean the bad kind, the kind that eat people. And while I wouldn't mind seeing some of my teachers turn into a tentacle monster breakfast, there are some I need to lie long enough to write my college recommendation letters. So thanks, but no thanks. My point is, every time Michael handles the money and then touches his food, he's eating microscopic baby tentacle monster blobs. And not just ones that look like Abraham Lincoln, ones that look like George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, Andrew Jackson, and Ulysses S. Grant. Yeah, Grant, for real. Rebecca Stroman slipped Michael $50 to cover the rest of the month. Must be nice, Rebecca. My credit limit is way higher than that, and I'd be glad to pay the rest of the year. But Michael doesn't take plastic. Not like I'm bitter or anything. I just like to have a hot lunch in a cafeteria once before I die is all. And Michael, every time you eat a microscopic baby tentacle monster blob, that's murder. That's a mark against your soul. Same as if you eat any other kind of meat. The difference is, what do you eat, one burger? When you eat one burger, that's one cow. When you eat one strip of bacon, that's one pig. But when you're eating microscopic baby tentacle monster globes, you're ingesting thousands at a time because they're so freaking small. But you're still going to be held accountable for every single one of them when you die. Can you do enough good in your life to balance the scales against that? I wash my hands, and I'm vegetarian, so I don't have to worry, but you do. And let me tell you, unless you get your act together soon, you're doomed. Doomed. So do us both a favor and get a credit reader, okay?
They should just get more microwaves, you know? If there were more microwaves, then nobody'd have to fight over them. Nobody would have to wait. We wouldn't have to pay Michael to keep order in the cafeteria. Susan wouldn't have to get so worked up over Michael not taking credit cards. It's just a matter of having enough supply to meet the demand. A 1-to-1 ratio would totally do it. And you know, I think the school board is gonna agree with me when I take these plans to them. Because if we each have our own designated microwave, nobody could complain. And yeah, I guess all of those microwaves would take up a lot of space in the school, but they can just build an extension onto the school. And if we each have our own designated microwave, they should get us some paint and some stickers to decorate our microwaves. Also, we should be able to take our microwaves home, because not everyone has a microwave in their bedroom, you know? But realistically, I might forget to bring my microwave back to school the next day. I mean, that's totally human, right? It could happen to anybody. And it will. Probably a lot. So the school should plan for that. We need 2 microwaves per student, plus extra paint and stickers for the second microwave. Also, maybe some backup microwaves in case we mess up while we're decorating. Or the paint dries darker than it looks in the can. Don't you just hate it when that happens? I mean, how hard is it to make paint that dries the same color as it looks in the can? The school would save so much money on microwaves if the paint would just dry the right color. It's also obvious.
So Shelby told me she thinks the school needs to buy like a zillion more microwave ovens. Let me tell you, if that happens, watch out. No, seriously. Once I went to go put a bowl of macaroni in the microwave, and when I went to take it out, it was hot, like super hot. But you know, I always kind of thought that the cafeteria food was heat resistant, and that's why it was never warmer than room temperature, because I didn't want us burning our mouths or something. So then I practically nuked my macaroni for 3.5 minutes just to make it a tad little bit warmer than that. And when I took it out, it was all black and there was smoke coming off of it. And then I poked it to see if it was warm, and I burned my finger. Yeah. And then I had to wait and wait and wait for the macaroni to cool down before I could actually eat it. And then when I ate it, it tasted all crunchy and charred. And plus, my finger still hurt. You know, I really ought to sue this school. They should definitely have a sign next to the microwave that says, "Caution, food may be hot." Do you have any idea what would have happened if I'd been so hungry that I just stuck my head right in the microwave and tried to lick the macaroni straight off the plate? I would have burned my tongue, the whole inside of my mouth, and all of my teeth. How am I supposed to eat with burned teeth? How can I chew gum for crying out loud? And that's not all. Then I would have jerked my head up from the pain, and then I would have been wearing the microwave like a motorcycle helmet. Not only would that have looked stupid, but the macaroni would have slid out and run all down my body, causing 9th-degree burns the whole way. Yeah. And oh, wait a minute. There's more. I can't believe it. Then it would have ended up on my shoes and burned holes clean through them. And my feet, too. Well, I mean, at least the holes in my feet would have been cauterized, but I was wearing new shoes that day. Do you have any idea how upset I'd been if I'd messed them up? I stole money out of my mom's purse for months to buy those. You know, the school really needs to think about more stuff like this. Microwave ovens are a very dangerous thing. And if you don't believe me, just go talk to Carla Hagenfelter. She literally almost burnt down the school.
My favorite thing in the world is a nice warm brownie and milk, and the cafeteria was serving brownies that day. After sitting through math and science and knowing I still had government and Spanish to go, I thought I deserved a break. Just me and that warm brownie. So I paid my 3 rates to Michael, put my brownie in the microwave, and waited. And waited, and waited some more. It seemed like an awful long 20 seconds, but my mom was always getting on me about being impatient, and I was determined to be patient. I wanted this brownie to be as good as it could be. And so I timed 20 seconds on my watch. And after that, the The microwave was still going. So I timed another 20 seconds. After that, the microwave was still going. And so I started wondering, maybe something's up with my watch. So I counted to 20 really slowly. The microwave was still going. And then I started wondering, is it me or the microwave? It can't be me, because I'm no mechanical genius, but it's not that hard to turn a knob, right? So I stood there for a while longer, having this debate with myself. In hindsight, what I should have been thinking was, I need to take my brownie out. But that didn't cross my mind until I realized the brownie was on fire. And then I didn't really know what to do, because as long as the brownie was in the microwave, the fire was contained, right? Unless it could catch the microwave itself on fire and cause a nuclear explosion. I wasn't really sure how that kind of thing worked. So I stood there for a while longer until Michael ran over the fire extinguisher and hosed down my brownie. But that was really inconsiderate of him though, because now my brownie was covered in fire extinguisher gunk, which, even though it looks kind of like whipped cream, I'm pretty sure it's not edible. So I thought about paying one of the freshmen to try it for me, but I'd already given all my cash to Michael. So basically, I'm out $3 in a brownie, but more than that, the letdown of all that anticipation was really demoralizing. Even thinking about it a day later is really traumatic. I could really go for a warm brownie.
I paid Michael $2.75. Then I got in line behind Carla. Then Carla turns the knob to 20 minutes. And I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. She's not actually gonna heat the brownie for that long, is she? Gotta be a mistake. But she just stands there, looking at the microwave, looking at her watch. All calm, real patient, and the brownie burst into flames. And I'm thinking, she sees that, right? Is the microwave brownie supposed to be flambe? The flames are getting bigger, but Carla doesn't budge. So I don't say anything, because if it wasn't supposed to be on fire, she'd be doing something, right? At this point, Michael's starting to look kind of concerned. I'm not sure if he's more worried about someone getting hurt or his livelihood going up in smoke. But finally, his eyes get bigger and bigger, and he runs to the wall, grabs the fire extinguisher, pulls open the microwave, and hoses down the brownie. Carla looks like she's about ready to cry. She must really like her brownies burnt to a crisp. And I'm thinking, do I gotta give her a moment? Or her and this brownie really close? Or is she just being weird? And also, who's gonna clean this mess up? But she just turns around and walks off. I look at Michael and say, who's gonna clean this up? He shrugs and says, not my problem. I just put out the fire. And I'm like, how am I gonna warm my hot dog? He told me I can clean it up myself if it bothers me that much. So I get some napkins and start wiping down the microwave. But people are yelling at me to hurry up because lunch is almost over. Then the bell rings and Mike yells, no refunds. Now everybody who paid Michael is expecting me to give them their money back. And I'm like, hey, I'm out $2.75. This is not my fault. But people are nasty, and they start yelling at me to hurry up. Finally, they clear out, and I'm able to finish what I'm doing and warm my hot dog for 20 seconds. But then, the next bell rings for class to start, and I got an attention because it was my 4th party, even though this one was totally not my fault. Carla's an idiot, and Michael's a money-hoarding jerk. I can't believe the principal's allowing this stuff to happen.
A microwave oven in the cafeteria? No, I don't think so. I was just there on Golf on Tuesdays. No, wait. That must have been, there was... I can't say for sure, but I've definitely been to the cafeteria. I know I have. Loud room, unpleasant noises. See, I told you I've been there. Anyways, I never allow something like that to happen. There'd be no point. The cafeteria serves warm, delicious meals every day. Having a microwave there would be an insult to the food service staff. Plus, it would jack our insurance through the roof. So trust me, there's no microwave in the cafeteria. I'm the principal. I know these things.
I don't know where the microwave came from, but I can tell you that no one bothered to consult any of us on the cafeteria staff before they put it there. I can also tell you that we work really hard to feed all you kids, even when you can't be bothered to look up from your cell phones long enough to make eye contact with us as you pass through the food line. And even though I have never once, not one single time, gotten an appreciation letter on Teacher's Appreciation Week, not one thank you note, not one. I'm just saying, we might not teach you math or science or the year that the Roman Empire fell, but we are still a member of the staff and we still want to be appreciated, so come on guys, Let's step up. Just saying. But despite all that, we care. Every time we rip open a box of frozen pizzas and shove them in the oven, we do it with a smile. Every time we strain our poor backs, picking up a 50-pound can of green beans, we do it with a song in our hearts. Even though we know that every single one of those green beans is going to end up in a trash can. We scoop mashed potatoes onto your plate day in and day out because we're so stinking happy to play such a pivotal role in the education of our nation's youth that we can barely contain our joy. So you think that we might feel just a little bit hurt that kids are using this thing on the food that we've already so lovingly prepared? As if it can somehow improve on the craftsmanship and heart that we've already invested in it? No, but we're not upset at all. And if we just happen to go on strike on Monday because this abomination is still here, think of it as a special expression of our love for every single student in this school.
Custodians rule!
There's no justice in this world. The day Michael made himself gatekeeper of the microwave, I was the first one to catch on to what he meant by capitalism. I was the first person willing to dig into their pockets and pay for the opportunity of a warmer and more appetizing lunch. And I was the first person who didn't get to nuke their food because somebody else was willing to pay more. And every day since then, something would happen in the morning that'd make me forget to bring the extra money. My mom told me to change the toilet paper roll. The cat coughed up a hairball in my bed. I didn't have any clean socks. It's like the universe was conspiring against me to make me lose sight of what was truly important. Bringing more than 44 cents to school so I could finally get to use that stinking microwave. And on the day that I finally remembered to empty my little brother's piggy bank and brought $8.32 in assorted loose change to school, more than enough to guarantee me a good place in the line, the microwave was gone. Vanished. I practically screamed at Michael. How could he let this happen? He just looks at me with tears in his eyes, like a man who lost the one thing that gave his life meaning. I actually felt bad for him, but I felt worse for me. It's just not right. Where did it go?
Where'd it go? Well, that's a mystery. But as the president and sole member of the school's Paranormal Investigation Society, mysteries are my specialty. All you had to do was look at that microwave to know there was something weird about it. Somebody said it looked like it came out of an Egyptian tomb, and I think they might have been right. Although I don't believe it was a microwave oven at all. Sure, it may have had some of the basic properties of one, but Star Wars and Star Trek have a lot of similar properties, and they're totally different. No, I believe it was an incubation chamber for alien life, and that it used to grow the alien slaves that built the pyramids. And whatever mummy was buried in that pyramid, that thing came out. And I believe he entered this very school sometime over the weekend and took his incubator back. I have evidence. On Monday morning, Mr. Murphy, the custodian, was just about to pick it up off the floor, but I grabbed him first. It was a bandage roll, just like the ones the ancient Egyptians used to wrap their mummies in. There's no way it could have wound up there. Unless the athletic trainer or the nurse or somebody dropped it. But what are the chances of that?
I was walking through the cafeteria on Monday morning, and I saw this bandage roll on the floor. I was just about to pick it up and throw it away, when a kid named Zeke grabbed it up and said that was proof that a mummy took the microwave. And you know, if that's what he believes, more power to him. Maybe he's right. I don't know what happened. One thing I can tell you for sure is that me and the other custodians didn't have a thing to do with it. Even if you did find a remarkably identical microwave oven in our break room, well, it was our toaster strudel money and Mrs. Ryan's coupons that paid for the thing. Nobody's any worse off than they were before. Except for maybe that big football player fellow Michael. I guess he's lost out on a pretty good source of income. We asked him at the end of lunch on Friday how much money he'd made that week. You know what he told us? $458.16. Who would have guessed? He'd have a toaster strudel party every day with that. Real pity for Michael. But if he wants to warm up his food, he's totally welcome to come and use our microwave anytime. For $1. Unless somebody else is willing to pay more than that. Because, hey, you know, capitalism.